Technology, a force that has forever changed the way we perceive the world around us. From the advent of virtual reality to the rise of artificial intelligence, it seems as though our understanding of reality has been fundamentally transformed. However, as technology continues to weave its way into every facet of our lives, we are also presented with intriguing possibilities. Join me as we continue our exploration of the Owyhee Canyonlands in Southeast Oregon, a trip crafted by ChatGPT, and answer if we can, or better yet, if we should, let AI plan our next overlanding adventure. But first, let's revisit the journey that has brought us to this point. In part 1 of our series, we set out on an overlanding adventure using the guidance of ChatGPT to navigate the Owyhee Canyonlands. With a prompt, a little more in depth than that. There we go. With a prompt, we asked ChatGPT to be our overlanding expedition guide to the Owyhee Canyonlands. And to make sure we got as much detail as possible, I asked it to give me coordinates and names of locations to explore and campsites to rest at. And then we waited, with curiosity and interest, as ChatGPT went to work. The itinerary looked good, plus I was up for the added adventure, so I didn't think twice about validating it. I was just eager to hit the road. Yet little did we know that the forces of nature would be against us on this trip, and as we ventured forth, dark storm clouds gathered overhead, releasing rain and snow that threatened to stop me and Gigi in our tracks. Alright, so with more rain and snow in the forecast, I think I'm gonna make the decision to turn around. I have like another 10 miles to go down this road, but I don't know. I don't want to get caught out here with rising water levels. I'm not too familiar with the area anyways. There's a third or fourth water crossing I've come up to now, and they've been pretty small, pretty manageable, but I don't know. I just don't want to risk it. After stopping to assess our situation, it became clear to me that there was an issue with the itinerary. The coordinates did not line up to the names on the map. I had bumped into ChatGPT's hallucination problem. In simple terms, hallucination means that the AI model can sometimes generate responses that may sound believable or reasonable, but they may not be based on accurate or factual information. And it does this in order to fill in gaps in its own knowledge. In other words, ChatGPT did not have a place to get GPS coordinates from, so it just made them up. This brings us to the now. After a cold night, I was greeted by some sun on the Owyhee River, where I looked over the day 2 itinerary. Looks like ChatGPT wanted me to head back to where I turned back from last night, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and continue up north to some hot springs and campsites that ChatGPT told me to check out later on in the day. I decided to spend some more time on these trails, and with breakfast packed, a fresh cup of coffee in hand, we set out on the next leg of our overlanding adventure. Veering away from Leslie Gulch, we ventured back into the mountains where I had set up camp last night. A lot of the snow that was on the road when we were coming in earlier in the morning has started to melt away already. Surprised that we're back in the clouds though. It's starting to get cloudy again. It was really, really nice clear blue skies down at the Owyhee Lake. Let's see what that means for the rest of this trip. We're still on Leslie Gulch Road, and I don't know if you could see that over there in the distance. That's the little bit of blue sky we had, and now it's back to this. If the road stays like this, 25 miles, could probably accomplish that in an hour and a half. But if it starts to get a little bit rougher, then we're gonna have to slow down a little bit. But so far, it looks like it's gonna be pretty manageable. But I guess we'll find out. All right, here's the fork of the road. Earlier today, we came from the right side, and this time we're gonna go to the left side. It looks like we have about 25 miles of dirt road to go. We go to the left side. So let's go ahead and check it out. And it was on this path, amidst the wonders of the Owyhee Canyonlands, that we stumbled upon another wonder, Succor Creek, known for its steep gorges and renowned as a destination for mineral and rock enthusiasts. It definitely offered a unique charm. Yet, to mine and Gigi's surprise, we encountered an unexpected sight. Someone had left some perfectly good Jeep doors on the side of the road, which left us wondering why. That's interesting. Looks like someone forgot their Jeep doors. Huh. That's cool. And that's for JL too. I respect it. As we ventured further into the canyon, I found the answer to our questions. Looks like these doors belong to the Jeep photography team capturing images for the 2024 Jeep Wrangler. It was real cool to get a rare glimpse into the behind the scenes of Jeep Automotive's marketing team. And though we hoped not to interrupt their work, we couldn't help but notice their hurried effort to conceal certain details like the redesigned dash and the larger touchscreen that had not yet been released to the public. Let's go ahead and get out of their way. Continuing our journey through and eventually out of Succor Creek, we marveled back at the beauty of the canyon's vista and took a moment to appreciate the remarkable path we had just taken through the canyon. Had to stop by real quick just to take in the scenery. That's the canyon that we came through. Right back, right there. That's the canyon we came through. Pretty cool. Alright, I just got service for the first time since I found out that ChatGPT had given me coordinates that didn't correspond to the actual place. But the first thing I looked up was the pronunciation of Owyhee. I think I've been pronouncing it wrong in this video, so my apologies for that. I think I was saying Owyhee, but I just looked it up and it's Owyhee. So I'm going to try to get that right from here on out, but I got too used to Owyhee. But yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's Owyhee. 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 Yeah, I think so. Owyhee. Definitely makes sense because there's a Y in there, not an A. As our expedition draws to a close, we find ourselves on the pavement once again, nearing our final destination as per ChatGPT's itinerary, the Snively Hotsprings, where we also would look for a spot to set up camp for the night. As I relaxed in the soothing waters, a familiar name caught my eye, Owyhee Lake Road. And if we recall, in part 1 of our journey, ChatGPT had mentioned this road, yet the exact location of it had remained elusive on the map. Driven by some curiosity, I decided to take one more detour to explore the rest of this road. Wow, the Snively Hot Springs, the water's actually pretty hot, and it goes out to a pretty big pool. There was a lot of people there though, so I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm thinking I probably won't go for a swim today, maybe early tomorrow morning before I hit the road. But right now, I'm going to try to see if I can find a campsite. I'm going to continue following this Lake Owyhee Road and just to see where it takes me, just to see what other campsites I find. This road led me to the impressive Owyhee Lake Dam. It became evident that reaching this destination from Three Forks, which is where ChatGPT wanted me to come from, would have been impossible without a boat. And with the day coming to a close and the sun setting on this remarkable adventure, it's time for us to set up camp. But before we do, one more question remains. Can ChatGPT plan our next overlanding adventure? In all honesty, my answer is no. While ChatGPT can provide suggestions and help kickstart the planning process, it's not ready to fully take on the task just yet. It lacks up-to-date data and may sometimes generate speculative or inaccurate results as it starts to hallucinate in order to give a response. However, let me clarify on this point that this does not mean that ChatGPT is entirely unusable. In many cases, it can still serve as a valuable resource, offering suggestions and inspiring ideas as we chart our next trip. As technology evolves, so too will ChatGPT. The latest iteration, which is ChatGPT 4, already possesses the ability to incorporate more up-to-date data, which will eventually lead to more accurate and reliable recommendations. When that time comes and that becomes available to the broader audience, it's definitely going to be worth revisiting and seeing if we can use AI for our overlanding adventures. And with that, thanks for watching, everyone. Have you been using ChatGPT for your adventure planning? Let me know in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe. But other than that, have a good one, everyone. I'll catch you all on the next trip. Thanks for watching.